Hi, third grade, and welcome to the next section of our map unit. So, in this unit, we're going to be talking about hemispheres and how the world is divided up. But first of all, we have to kind of talk about this topic. What's the difference between this map and this globe? Well, a globe is a sphere shape and a model of the Earth. So it's actually three-dimensional too. So it actually looks the most like the Earth as we can get because of how it rotates and how it's on an axis and slightly tilted. So this is a really accurate description of what the Earth would look like. So a globe is a sphere and it's a model of the Earth. A map, however, is flat and it's a drawing that shows places on the Earth. It can be as specific as this one is just of, I don't know what just happened there. This is a map of just Alaska, but it can go even smaller and it can be pictures of your town or your city, or it could even be part of your school or even your bedroom. So maps are flat, globes are a sphere. So what is a hemisphere? Well, hemi means half. So hemisphere means half of a sphere. So when you're looking at the globe, they've actually cut it into half two different ways, and it almost makes it look like four ways. So one of the ways that they've cut it in half is around the outside, or around the middle, this way around. And another way they've cut it in half is from top to bottom, like this way around too. So we're going to talk a little bit more about those hemispheres. So the hemispheres are what are divided by invisible lines. There's not really a line called the equator. But the top and the bottom of the globe is divided by an invisible line called the equator. And it splits the globe into the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere is where we live. We live in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere, Australia, most of South America and Africa are in the southern hemisphere. So when you're looking at a globe, it's not going to say, here's the equator. It's invisible the way it goes all the way around. When I flew to Australia, I got to cross the equator, which is kind of unique because they tell you on the plane, now we're crossing the equator. But it actually divides the top and the bottom of the globe in half. Now the prime meridian goes from the top to the bottom to divide it in half this way. So it's going from here to here. And it divides it into the eastern and the western hemispheres. It's kind of hard to tell on this globe, but from the top, it goes all the way down here. And again, it's an invisible line to divide it into the eastern and western hemisphere. So if you had a globe like this, it'd be split apart right here. There are 4 hemispheres, and for this one, they want us to label where each one is. So you would do, see if it's gonna let me drag it. I'll probably have to do this way, hold on. There we go. Oh, there we go. So the southern hemisphere is down here. And the northern hemisphere is up at the top. The eastern hemisphere is on this side. And the western hemisphere would be over here. So when you do that for social studies, you know what the hemispheres look like. Hold on, let me view it. So you can see what it looks like when you're labeling the hemispheres. So that is the end of the first part of social studies for this week.